What's up, guys? Here with you at FC Wonderkid, episode 68. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
Listen, I had this dream, okay? I had this dream, and I have to ask you about it. I had this dream that Brentford beat Manchester United 4-0. Can you verify this dream? Was it just something that is it a bad dream? Is it a good dream? All I can say is it felt really real to me. Was it real?
It was a nightmare for Man United fans, as you can see for many. But before we go for that, do not forget to like this video. It's a huge help for us at FC Wonderkid, and it tells us that you're enjoying the podcast. And subscribe to FC Wonderkid on YouTube. But yes, Man United, the first time in over 100 years that Man United, a manager, loses his first two league matches at Man United, the first time. Erik ten Hag is not starting in style. But who is surprised with all this? Legitimately, seeing the transfers, Ronaldo clearly predicted that this was going to be the start of Man United's season. And now, who can blame Ronaldo wanting to leave that much? Seeing that midfield, how no options and nothing's fixed, naturally he wants to go. And Frankie de Jong doesn't want to go to Man United. He's simple. This is simple for me. If Man United, instead of the 80 million that they want to splash on Frankie, would splash on Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Sangaré, midfield solved. That's it. And start them instead of Fred and McTominay or whoever is at Man United right now. That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen.
I mean, at this moment, it's like, you're poking Manchester United saying, do something, because whatever they lined up, I mean, there's a lot to unpack, right, when it comes to this. And let's be honest, Cristiano Ronaldo, fine, he might be great in knowing and being a sage in terms of knowing that this was going to be the beginning of the season. But ultimately, Ronaldo's also part of the team, and he definitely bears a brunt of the blame. Do I agree with the English media that, it's all Ronaldo all the time? No, absolutely not. There is way too much blame to go across the board with the existing team, with past members of the team and of the front office and of the managerial staff. And this goes so much deeper than what is currently on the surface at Manchester United. Those players looked dejected. They were getting beaten to the ball, every one of them getting beaten to the ball by every Brentford player. Every Brentford player had 4 times the heart that Manchester United had. And this is like going back to youth football days, right? This is like what your coach tells you, just go out and want it more. Brentford wanted it more, right? And they were incisive when they got the chance. And then, obviously, David De Gea decided to have one of the biggest stinkers that I've ever seen a goalkeeper have, especially a goalkeeper at his level. But I got to tell you, they did, Ten Hag, what he's on the hook for is he literally did nothing. He had to have known that this was the mentality heading into these first 2 games, and he did nothing. And afterwards he says, well, we just all have to come together. That's the only way we get out of this. Damn right you have to come together, but saying it to the media is not how you do it. You put your head down, you get everybody in that room, including Ronaldo, and you say, please, figure this out, boys, right? And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because nothing has changed. And Ten Hag, little things. He should have started Malacia from the beginning, right? Malacia was the only breath of fresh air that came in. Yeah, he played terribly.
And
Harry Maguire.
Eriksen had to drop to defend with the center backs because literally no other midfielder at Man United would support the center backs. I understand what you're saying, the willingness to run, the willingness to do more than what Brentford players were doing, but Ralph Rangnick said, you need a clearance of 10 players. Mourinho said, was my best job to get second place with this team. The best of the best have spoken. The best coaches, man. So United has to fix. And a rebuild has to happen. I think every Man United fan would accept ending in 7th or 8th, but knowing that players like Bailey's not a problem anymore. Scott McTominay, okay, was on the bench, but He doesn't have that level. Garnacho should have been loaned maybe. And Mejri, Anibal Mejri, like should have been loaned out already. Amad Diallo, they're in the middle of all this mess. Players that could be improving. James Garner that had such a good loan. I don't want to see them going down in this rabbit hole. And I just hope Erik ten Hag gets a grip. And what I got to say too about the changes, one thing's for sure. What would have been the first thing that would have changed in a locker room if the mentality's changed? The captain! The captain is still Maguire, and Varane is on the bench. How is this possible? This is, if you said this to me 3 or 4 years ago, I would have gone bonkers and bold. And I'm going crazy because this is crazy. But Varane has to start. Martinez, okay, he had some hiccups, but he has to start. Malacia has to, and he just has to trust whoever's with him, and he definitely has to bring in a center, a midfielder.
I mean that should have been done day one, and frankly, that's all on Ten Hag's shoulder. And I agree. We had commenters when we put a YouTube post up that basically said, what would you do first if you were Manchester United right now? And the biggest thing is they're going after players, right? They're going after players that are actually above their station right now, that are above. That need Champions League football and don't want to go there. This rings a bell, right? We were talking about this when Arsenal was in the doldrums, when they were really dealing with that, and Arteta was trying to turn it around and all that good stuff. Ten Hag and United, I mean, United's been in this for a while, but it has just gotten worse. You've got bruised egos. You've got people that are not playing up to snuff. You have players that, agreeably, they are not Man United players. But when it comes down to it and you're trying to bring new players in, you got to stop shooting for those like a Frankie de Jong, frankly. He's too good for Man United right now, okay? So you buy the players, you bring in the players that will fight for the badge. You instill the culture, you reinstill the culture, you bring it back to that, and, or we sit here and we blame the Glazers. And I get that.
Definitely have to blame the Glazers.
You can definitely do that, but that is such a long game. Unless everybody there at Old Trafford, right, everybody there that is at Old Trafford, if you're willing to lay down your season tickets, right, and not go to the games and boycott the games, that's the best way you hit the Glazers.
That reviews, man. I think they're already going to sell it, Breton, because even their establishments outside of Man United, if you see the Google reviews, they're in ones. It's gyms, it's restaurants, it's cosmetics. Whatever has Glazers on, Man United fans are targeting it. And I've got to say this, man, with Erik ten Hag, that I'm a bit surprised, okay? I was a big admirer of the transfers that I said. Eriksen, I liked. Lisandro Martinez, I liked. Malacia, I liked. But seeing news now of Arnautovic and Rabiot, you're going not 2 step backwards. You're going 10 step backwards. That is transfers of agents, not transfers of scouts. And that is a problem that is from the top. Who gets that transfers done? The Glazers have a hand in it. And I don't know. I really don't know, like, the real backstory of Man United. Because I see Neville revealing that they're leaking money. He knows more than us about Man United behind the scenes. And I'll be honest, I trust Gary Neville when he says that they don't invest in Man United and they just take off money from Man United. So the Glazers will be shocked for what's to come this season. I do not expect they will stay. Sir Ratcliffe, I think he's going to go bold. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They also threw £100 million at Jadon Sancho. Right? It's not as if they didn't necessarily spend. Though. Sure. Were they taking dividends? Were they taking leisurely money off the top, scraping it off the hot?
But Sancho had 20 goals and assists in a season.
Right.
And his English.
He did. But if you actually needed, if Rangnick actually needed, that money spread across 5 or 6, right? Or Ole needed that money spread across 5 or 6 players in order to deepen the talent pool that was at Manchester United, then fine. You shouldn't have spent it all on one player, just like you probably shouldn't have spent 50 million, 55 million on Lisandro Martinez. When it comes down to it for me, though, none of this changes the fact that they could have still gone out there and they could have beaten Brentford to the ball. That, what that doesn't take? That doesn't take talent. That doesn't take coordination. That takes you wanting it more. And when Aaron Hickey laid out Cristiano Ronaldo without touching the ball at all, right, it's a Twitter video clip, but my goodness, he sacrificed himself for that ball and laid into one guy that if Ronaldo wanted to, he'd get up and he would. That's a story to tell the future grandkids, right? Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to destroy me after I tackled him and not the ball. But Ben Mee in defense, finding a way to actually score. And he's been there how many weeks? A couple weeks, right? You've got Lisandro getting beaten on the goal line and them getting beaten, 2, 3, 4 times in the box via head. And Brentford was winning every ball. These players don't want it. They also don't want to change or else they'd be playing with fire, right? I'd see Harry Maguire with a red card because he's so tuned up, because he wants to lay into somebody and send a message, okay? But he's not doing that. They're playing timid. They're playing, I don't know, maybe to by the book, trying to stay in ETH's good graces. There's no reason David De Gea should have such a howler like that on the second game of the season after a boss comes in. This is a Spanish national team goalkeeper. This is a guy that kept Manchester United from being 10th, 11th, or 12th last season, okay? And why? How? How does that happen when you are a professional player playing for still one of the largest teams on the planet? I'm
not gonna go crazy on De Gea because De Gea for me has been one of the best players for Man United in recent history, and I do feel though that he doesn't pass the best, and that's the point that he has to improve, especially with Ten Hag. But I don't feel like De Gea is the problem, nor
he's not. I'm not saying he is. Yeah, I'm not saying he is. What I am saying is that the match prep, the understanding of what the boss wants, the mentality that is out there to cause some of these players to have, we like to call it here in the States, brain farts,
but it's
to have those moments where they're these highly qualified professionals making those. That's more on the boss to me. That's more on the culture. It's not on the player. We know what David De Gea did for Man United last year. He kept them in many games. Yeah, he had mistakes. He does have mistakes. I'm not putting this on his shoulder. It's on every one of those players that stepped out there for Man United, and every one of them showed moments of getting their butt handed to them by Brentford players that have maybe, half of the talent that was on the field for Manchester United. Even Christian Eriksen, Matthias Jensen outperformed his Danish compatriot Christian Eriksen on the day by far. By far.
I agree. Brentford is definitely. This is the last point I want to say. And you agree. I agree. Brentford is much more organized than Man United, and in that game, it felt really. And in moments like Shaw, I agree they get mistakes, but Shaw for me was not just mistakes. It was mistakes in effort. That for me is a player that cannot start next match. I agree with you. Yeah. And people, put down below, what do you think Man United need? What's going to be the difference in the next matchup against Liverpool? Put some score predictions down below for the Liverpool Man United game, okay? The YouTube comment section. Go bold and tell us in episode 68. And yes, let's go here. Staying with the Prem now. We can go now to City. Just staying in Manchester. And I got to say, Haaland. Oh, you only need two touches in a game, Haaland, and you get an assist in your second Premier League match. Haaland is going bold with Guardiola. And I got to say, that Foden link up with Haaland will keep on getting better. Better and better.
It should. And man, Phil Foden really enjoyed himself against Bournemouth. It's as if he was filming his own how-to send to Stevie Gerrard at Aston Villa. Here's how you beat Bournemouth. Okay, a goal and an assist for him, and it was a big reminder for me with Phil how smooth he is on the ball. He's a smooth operator to the point where sometimes it almost feels not lackadaisical. That's not the right word, but just too buttery, right? To where it almost feels like he's not trying 100%, but he obviously is. So I have to ask you though. I've seen this pop up over the last couple months in terms of discussing Phil Foden, whether it's via Bukayo Saka or against Even Gavi or Pedri or any of the other ones, Jamal Musiala. Would Phil Foden thrive outside of Pep Guardiola's system?
Yes, I think he would thrive. I think if Foden was at Bayern Munich, they would still know how to use his genius. And I'll be honest, I do believe that him being with Guardiola, it's immense and it's fantastic for his development. Look at what happened to Kimmich. That when Guardiola left, he still grew, and now he's a world-class player for many. So I think Foden, even when Guardiola goes, he will still be considered the best. And I'd say this, he can be the best player at Man City. He really can. And if he's the best player at Man City, a team that will always be fighting for Champions League football, come on, Phil Foden will be in the discussion with the best players in the world. And at 22, Phil Foden is the English player with the most on his paper to be a Ballon d'Or contender in the future, in my opinion. Okay, but Saka, you got names, but Foden for me is the one that's getting the silverware, is playing with the world's best, and in some games manages to outshine world-class players. So Foden for me.
And it's a small sample size, right?
Yes.
In the sense that he has only really worked under Pep. And it's convenient how we've all kind of forgotten how there was maybe a 1.5 year long period where Pep kept, throwing good plaudits at him, telling him that he could be great, he could be this, and then he basically languished on the bench for a while. And he sat there and he took that, and he never once said, "Send me out on loan." And he went through that. The issue here is that the only other sample size we have about Phil Foden outside of Pep's system is with Gareth Southgate and the English national team. And I would make the argument that he hasn't quite hit the efficiency level that he hits with Pep in his system. He hasn't quite hit that at the English national team. And maybe this winter or summer, wherever you are listening to this, in November, we might actually be able to see Phil Foden take that next step where he does it everywhere he goes.
I agree. If England wins the World Cup, it's with Foden in form, definitely. Definitely. And it has to be. And for me, you see in England, and this I think justifies too, like what you're saying about Foden. It's like Foden is not an English talent, a usual English talent. Foden has a touch of Brazilian, of Spanish. He really has that first touch that you don't say that's English. He's too magician. He's a magician on the ball. So for the English football, they have to adapt to a player like Phil Foden. And I do feel like Southgate, little by little, he is changing players like Calvin Phillips and Rice, double pivot. That brings a lot of good build-up play. And a player like Foden needs a good and strong build-up play that he has with Man City. So I think that England will get there, but a lot of pieces will still have to change. And I love the people that are answering our YouTube polls. Please, if you're listening, go answer the polls and the center back poll we did. Best English center back, Stones and Tomori, Foden, they will all be together. And yeah, those two players are players that know how to play with ball, Stones and Tomori. So it's not usual, it wouldn't be usual in the past to see center backs of England be so good on ball. So yeah, I do believe in the future Foden will be a baller for England.
I agree with you. I always think about that, because he is.
I agree.
He's one of those types that, thinking of Manchester United of old, where some of those players wound up playing with the same club, right? They played with United their whole life, like a Paul Scholes. I could see Phil Foden basically staying at Manchester City for the rest of his career, but at the same time, it all depends on who is the heir apparent to Pep Guardiola when the time comes. But yeah,
but about the City, we got to talk about De Bruyne, Bretson, like a goal and an assist. Woo! An exquisite goal and assist with the confidence that he has. And we're saying Foden can be one of the best English players of all time. De Bruyne definitely will be considered one of the best Belgian players of all time and one of the best in the Premier League to play. So, geez Louise, love it, Guardiola, man.
I think he could get to the point where he is
the best.
He is the best Belgian player of all time.
De Bruyne.
Okay? I mean, yes. I don't know. I mean, where else would you go with that? Enzo Schifo? right? Was that his name back in the day? I think it was Enzo Schifo. I honestly don't know Vincent Kompany. That is obviously a very large name. So yeah, we'd have to kind of unpack that there. But De Bruyne, simply sublime. I just hope he stays healthy for the full season, for the full campaign. I hope Pep actually manages his minutes some so that he doesn't get run down. And I think, you know what, if he can keep this going, there's no reason to think he couldn't go like 20-20 in the Premier League, right? 20 goals, 20 assists, because the way he's playing right now, and I get it, it's Bournemouth and who'd they play on opening day? Why am I already forgetting?
West Ham.
West Ham, thank you. And West Ham, which, should be a harder match than they have been as of late. But man, he has looked so good. And Haaland, yeah, two touches.
Exactly, like 2 touches, and he's doing this. What's going to happen when he knows how to play in Guardiola's Man City system? Like, when he's got, like, all the touches, like, Haaland is going to be immense. Another player that we see Chelsea, City, they got ahead of everyone getting Haaland, and that it slept how early Man City got Erling Haaland. And I just like the options with Rodri, Phillips. It's the left back, though. Let's wait and see. Sergio Gomez, though. Yeah, he was announced, I think. Yeah. Sergio Gomez,
he was announced.
15 million. They weren't played by the 60 million that Brighton asked for Cucurella. He is balling at Chelsea. I respect that. But City will only pay more than 40, 50, I think it was. So I respect that they said they were overvaluing, and let's get the player, Sergio Gomez, that you were going to replace at Brighton. Yeah. So Brighton were the ones that got played.
And a quick shout out to Rico Lewis, who I believe was one of the young academy players that got to come in and make his Premier League debut. I believe he was at left back. But yeah, Sergio Gomez, it sounds like he's going to be, understandably so, because of their thinness in that spot. He's gonna stick with that first team. But yes, Manchester City, they're looking as we kind of expected them to start. And now, we'll see where it goes. Yes. I'm thinking Liverpool is going to have to show something. They've got some big fixtures coming up, so we'll see if the real Liverpool will stand up, because Manchester City is already showing that they mean business. And hey, let's take it next. Stick with the Manchester City theme, and we'll use their exports.
Yes.
I think we have to talk about a certain guy named Gabi Jesus.
And Zinchenko.
And Zinchenko, man.
Two players that Arteta just stole from Man City. Yeah. And I know all Man City fans must be like, oh my days, we would love to still have Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. And I gotta say, Gabriel Jesus, for everybody that has him in fantasy, he went bold, and there's a ton of captains with him too. Like the goals, the confidence that Gabriel Jesus has, man. Oh my days. I'm happy that he's becoming a better player at Arsenal, because Gabriel Jesus now, Brazil fans, you gotta be hyped. With a Gabriel Jesus in form, you have Gabriel Jesus, Neymar, Vinicius Junior, and Rafinha. For the eggs, Brazil in the World Cup, man. What a lethal attack. Rodrigo on the bench, a crazy bench too with an attack, I gotta say, better than ever. And Bruno Guimarães slotting in next to Casemiro, those passes. And Fabinho. So they're stacked, man.
It is daunting. It is daunting to think about. And if you're Leo Messi in Argentina, you're maybe shaking in your boots a little bit. Yes, of course. But Gabriel Jesus, 2 goals, 2 assists. And I have to say right now, Arsenal is far from the finished product, in my opinion, right? And they still have managed to impress
but what do you mean far from the,
in the first 2
finished
games?
product?
Meaning that I think their ceiling is much, much, much higher. I think they can get much better. I don't even think their right side of Saka, and I guess you could say Ben White or Tomiyasu, whoever you want to bring up, right? They haven't even really contributed as much as that left side has, right? Currently, so far, Gabriel Martinelli has been absolutely phenomenal for them so far this season. So I think when you can get it more aligned, you get that whole machine moving together, you maybe avoid, I don't know, Granit Xhaka red cards or high boots or whatever you want to do it. I don't know. You're going to run into scenarios where this team is going to get tested, but I think that this team can get much, much better.
I agree.
So I mean that as a way to kind of maybe bring those Arsenal fans that are in the stratosphere right now, just loving life, just bring them down a little bit. But at the same time, to basically say the Gunners are the real deal.
But
The
what?
Gunners are the real deal.
You say bring it down, but you're saying the highest ceiling. You mean like with Arteta, like a legacy could start, a proper legacy could start.
It could. He could. They can improve to become. I'm not going to say.
Can they win the Prem?
No, no, not this season. Not this season.
Oh,
but
come on.
I am pretty confident. I am pretty confident that there may be a couple more good fixtures away from them really taking a hard run at third, at least based in my predictions. And you never know. I've predicted that one of the two will fall from grace this season, Liverpool and Manchester City. Even though I wasn't man enough to put it in my predictions, I still believe it's true. As of right now, it doesn't look like City's going to do it anytime soon, but I do believe that Arsenal has the tools right now, and maybe a few more signings to shore things up in the future. But I think they could be incredibly dangerous for a few years to come.
I still think Arsenal are going to get one more player in this transfer window, and I'm glad they will. And going for where you were talking about with the fullbacks, I completely agree. Yeah. The left-hand side with Zinchenko is much, in terms of creating output forwards, much better than Tomiyasu, and it will always be. Because Tomiyasu doesn't deliver the same way forwards, but defensive-wise, he gives the guarantees. I prefer Tomiyasu at the right and stay like that. I like how he plays. But for me, the biggest worry was like the Saliba mistake that I saw, which was a communication problem with Ramsdale. So it's something that will improve over time. And Saliba, afterwards, he showed that he wasn't with that in his mind, and he just followed through. And overall, great performance by Saliba at 21. So, again, overall, the defense is different, and it's better. And it's something that if you have a young, good defense, you will be good in the future. And I got to say this, too. Smith-Rowe is coming off the bench still. Smith-Rowe could get a bigger role in the middle of this season. And we still haven't even seen Fábio Vieira in the team. So I'm telling you guys, be hyped, because when Fábio Vieira comes, it's even more options to play. So, and I agree with you. Martinelli is a totally different player with Zinchenko at the left back supporting him. He allows him to go into the middle and create a chance. Really try your shot. And yes, again, are still different, but let's wait and see. And the player that I think they're going to sign, it's going to be a center mid. And yes, Yuri Tielemans, I think, is going to be the one. I've said it like a month or two, but it still hasn't gone through. So I'm a wait and see type thing. And I see more just Caicedo being referred to go to Arsenal. And if they got him, that would be insane in my opinion. Xhaka would understandably be on the bench, and Thomas Partey and Moises Caicedo start, in my opinion.
You might, if Arsenal signs Moises Caicedo, I might have to be an Arsenal fan. That would just be a wonderful signing. But I think Yuri Tielemans is the one that can get done right now.
Yes.
He wants to leave Leicester.
Caicedo can too. Caicedo can too.
Yeah.
Because Brighton, they can replace players very well. They have their scouting high level, and they're like they must have a price tag for Caicedo.
I'm sure they do.
60, 50. I don't know, but it's gonna be expensive.
Well, their record in all of his starts is absolutely like amazing. I think they have 1 loss, like 5 wins, 3 draws. They are looking every bit the fun team to track. Obviously, they have inconsistencies. They still need a striker that is going to actually. Yeah. Well, yeah. We haven't really even seen him that much yet. But I told you in our predictions. Alexis McAllister is who you want to be watching. Alexis McAllister has definitely started the season very, very well for him. And I honestly do believe that he could work his way in to that Argentinian 11. I do.
Is so much better than him, man.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I agree in some respects. I think they're not exactly the same. But Alexis, I got to give credit where credit's due, because Alexis has stepped his game up, and he now feels like he's part of the. He was from Argentinos Juniors, and I think he has like 2 brothers, the McAllister brothers that just play pro football everywhere. I love the story of Alexis McAllister. I love the stories of Moises Caicedo, and I love Brighton's transfer policy. And I'm not afraid to say it. But you know what? I got to move on.
Yes.
Because I got to talk about. I don't like what I'm seeing, and I know it's 2 games, but Coutinho's already injured. I don't know for how long, and he hasn't looked himself just yet. He hasn't even looked a part necessarily of the villain offense. So I don't know if this is squarely on the shoulders of Stevie Gerrard, or what do you say? Because it has looked, Stevie Gerrard, here's what I don't understand. You bench Tyrone Mings, you strip him of his captaincy, right? And then immediately the guy that you replaced him with, probably not, because Diego Carlos is the guy you replaced him with. You bench then, after 1 game, Ezri Konsa, and you put him back in. And now you expect it to be different. And guess what? Now it's back to Konsa and Mings in the future. Why? Because Diego Carlos just picked up a pretty bad injury, right? So I don't know. I'm just going to say man management for Stevie Gerrard so far at Aston Villa hasn't been up to snuff for me. Not that he's caring about my opinion,
and
but ultimately
Villa does come with those expectations that, like, if they're spending those transfer fees, like with Carlos, with Buendia, with Bailey, it comes with the expectations of at least getting top 10 football for Aston Villa. So Stevie G is in the hot seat. That must be said. I agree with you. But Aston Villa,
they still won.
They did, but Buendia was the one that impressed me the most. Finally in the score sheet, and he seemed like he wanted a redemption. And let's wait and see. I feel like that's a player that, if he's better, Villa will be. So he was the Jack Grealish replacement, but it didn't go as well at the start. But if he goes well this season, I think he wasn't bad, but he can be much better in my opinion. So.
I mean, but you have no worries about Coutinho. You have no worries. You have a feeling he will produce in the long run, that this will not be injury-riddled. I know it's early, but he just hasn't looked a part of that offense.
My thing about Coutinho is he came for 20 million. He's getting 150K a week. Like, for what he came for, he's worth the value. He's worth the value. Like, Aston Villa, getting Coutinho was a miracle itself, in my opinion, at the time from Barca. So I'd say Aston Villa fans, try to go bold and stick with Stevie G, because what he did with Rangers was good. But keep an eyebrow up. I agree. You gotta play more. Play him. Oh, and he's a player that should have gone to United straight in January, and then instead of 10 players to replace, it'd only be 9 maybe. Come on, for 5 million. Ralph Ragnick wanted him, but
Caicedo, any of those players could have happened. They're just not signing them. But Villa still got the win. They got the win versus Everton. They bounced back after losing to Bournemouth. They got the 3 points. So maybe I'm pouring a little too much cold water on Villa's chances. It's just the Diego Carlos. Depending on how long he's out, that's going to be a big deal. But then again, most of last season was who? It was Conte and Mings.
And Villa has something that not a lot of teams in the Prem have. It's like they got prolific options on the bench too. Like, they got Watkins playing, and they can have Danny Ings on the bench too. Or they can have Ings playing and Watkins on the bench. So in terms of even options finishing, they can't complain.
Yeah. And Kamara can play at center back too. So they still got depth there. But no, we'll see. We'll see. But that is what Villa, in my predictions, is one of the clubs that I don't have them putting it together.
I put Newcastle on top. Newcastle on top. That mentality, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna be on top of Villa. In my opinion, community. In my opinion.
Nick Pope with that showing, right? Nick Pope essentially paid his value. Paid his value in spades.
30 years old. 30 years old. Yeah. Nick Pope. I told you guys, one of the best moves this transfer window. Slept. Nick Pope, Botmans, Pope, Targets. I really like the business that Newcastle did. They did the business that they knew their position. They knew people were always going to push money from them. And they just said, okay, Botman, he's worth the money. He's worth the extra 10 million that we're going to push. So, I like the recruitment policy from Newcastle. And they're doing it the right way, man. They're going to be a crazy
Still need a striker. They still need a striker.
True, but which I think Gosal, I don't know if it's going to happen, but Yeah, Gonçalo Ramos, there's a lot of talk in the Portuguese news that he will be going to the Prem for 30 million. Yeah, Newcastle or Wolves. That's the talk right now. I'm shocked.
Okay.
If I was Chelsea, man, why doesn't Chelsea go for him? Honestly, you guys need a striker. I know he's a youngster and he just scored a hat-trick in Michelin, but Gonçalo Ramos, I just would want him to succeed somewhere, man. And seeing how Havertz plays in that striker, that mobile striker role, Gonçalo would be perfect for it.
And Lukaku's already got his first goal back at Inter, and you've got Timo Werner in a pretty weird manner scores his goal for RB Leipzig on his return.
And
so
Lukaku's first goal for Inter was with Lecce too. So like he scored the first goal twice.
There you go. And they made it very tough to get by Lecce. So congratulations to Lecce. But ultimately, we can't move on without talking about Leeds United and without me patting myself on the back here, because I said at the beginning of this season, literally like 2 weeks ago, I said that the most important man for keeping Leeds United out of a relegation scrap moving forward was going to be whether or not Rodrigo could figure out or could actually prove his worth, his value, what he was brought in for, which I believe was around 30 million euros. And he's got 3 goals in 2 games. They haven't been the prettiest of goals. He's missed other big chances. Yeah. And guess what? Leeds United should have gotten all 3 points against Southampton, but they did bungle it at the end. They were up 2-0, and then 2 guys for Southampton, Sekou Mara, young kid brought from Bordeaux, and Joe Aribo, who doesn't get enough credit for what he has done in his career so far, going from Charlton Athletic to Rangers to now Southampton, and he scored his first Premier League goal. So you got to give, a hand to them in fighting back.
Underrated.
But I am going to say right now that Leeds United last year probably would have given up that 3rd goal in the end, and they would have lost all 3 points. So for them to get 1 away tells me that the project is still on course. But Rodrigo is a big deal, because I don't think Bamford might be out injured again, and Leeds are back looking at a striker. So next game we might see Gelhard with Rodrigo behind him, and I would not be angry.
They have to sign a striker, man. It's 2 seasons with Bamford like that. Kalimundo, man, just go to Leeds, man, and you will ball out with Jesse Marsh, Brendan Aronson.
Stade Rennais got him. Stade Rennais got him. 22 million.
Even worse for
Arno
Leeds, man.
Kalimundo.
Oh, I'm a douche. So Stade Rennes, they anticipated themselves. Even more youth to Stade Rennes. Oh,
it's
my God.
It's crazy.
So
they're
But they know that they can get exactly. That's the Matthias Tell money. Oh my days.
Yes.
So they're Stade Rennes, good money, and they replaced immediately with a player that in instant impact will be better than Matthias Tell. I like it, Kalimundo. So I didn't know that transfer happened. Oh my days. So, and just so I don't forget to mention this, there's another transfer too in Liga that is underrated too. I just want to mention fast. Mohamed Kamara leaves Red Bull Salzburg, 15 million people, and watch this defensive midfielder that just went to AS Monaco. He's going to be one of the best midfielders in League 1. Malian midfielder. He is bold from Red Bull Salzburg. What a bargain. I just want to say, because we're mentioning Liga.
He covers a lot of ground. He's part of that system. He covers a lot of ground. He's a tough tackler. And him paired with Youssoufa Fofana at Monaco is going to be pretty scary, except Fofana did get himself a red card in this last game. So it'll actually probably be Elliot Matazo and Kamara. Yep. So I agree. For 15 million, that's a bargain, because my guess is he goes to the Bundesliga for 30 a couple years from now. But definitely good not to forget that. But I do want to, we got to snap back to the big marquee game of the Premier League weekend, and that would have been Tottenham versus Chelsea.
Conte
and I was about to call the local police station and put an APB out for Harry Kane and Son, because I don't know where they went the majority of that game, but Harry Kane, 96th minute, he just waited until the last moment to get on the end and make it 2-2. But ultimately, come on, that had all the fixins for a beautiful melodrama that had literally Thomas Tuchel and Conte going at each other's throats. You had Kai Havertz and Cuti Romero head to head going at each other. You had a red card to both of the managers after the whistle. Just great extracurricular activity.
That handshake was so tense between Conte and Tuchel. And I got to say, I feel like Lukaku adds a lot of story to these two, because Tuchel was the one saying, go to your daddy, to Lukaku. Go to your daddy Conte, to Lukaku. Conte mustn't be happy about this chit-chat from Tuchel with Lukaku, and I'm sure Lukaku would have said to Conte. So we got here a love triangle between Tuchel, Conte, and Lukaku. So that might be the reason of all that tension, man. Even when they score a goal between each other, they would provoke and pass towards. But speaking football, I want to say here, Cucurella, in my opinion, I said it in the pod. I do say 60 million is a lot. I do say that. But I can't imagine Chelsea playing without Cucurella now. Legitimately. Cucurella is essential in Chelsea's system. Chelsea attack from the left, creativity-wise, and Cucurella adds so much to Mason Mount's game, and he adds a lot to the attack. Reece James playing right center back with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I liked it at the start, but the moment it changed and he went to midfield, they got to go straight away because they just forgot that he went back to right wing back, Reece James. So tactics-wise, I do like the adaptability of many of these players, but I'm going to go back to the same that is, I got to judge the quality in finishing. That's the only thing I really felt in that game. To Chelsea, still haven't improved their finishing. They're still not prolific going forwards. I do not get that sense, a limited sense, that they're going to score a goal. They need someone, a better nine. It has to happen. So, and I got to highlight Koulibaly. Koulibaly, for me, man of the match that game. The goal, unbelievable goal. Crossed in by Cucurella, and Koulibaly showing to the world that he's one of the best center-backs in the world. Not just Premier League, in the world, definitely. Kalidou Koulibaly, leveling him to Rudiger. So, for me, man of the match.
Somebody free Christian Pulisic, please. I need to see him playing. Now it's just, I know. I mean, my goodness. You're going to accept Havertz week in, week out, but Pulisic doesn't, when he's healthy, barely gets a run. I think he does. He probably has to leave if he's going to get full.
And Aubameyang is still the news. Aubameyang is still the news, man. And I see Fabrizio now, man. Now it's gotten to me, Breton. Oh my days. How are they considering this? In my opinion, I don't get it. It must be because Tuchel knows Aubameyang. It must be because of that. It must be.
Probably.
If they were going to get Dembele in the past, okay, get Aubameyang instead. 15, 20 million. Barca wins with that situation. But still, I'd say Fofana, though. Desperate call. Desperate call, man. Get Fofana so you don't have Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing right wing back and you have Reece James, man. Get Wesley Fofana, man. Desperate.
75, 80 million for a reconstructed ACL. That kind of scares me.
I understand. I understand that, and I agree.
It is what it is.
And you see Liverpool getting Konate for 30 million. I feel you. And Saliba. So it's like, I get you.
Woo. Well, listen, the Premier League did not fail to deliver this weekend. Saw a bunch of goals, bunch of good games. But listen, you want real goals, right? You want all the goals. You probably have to go to PSG because I don't know what Neymar's eating these days, but he's having fun feasting on the defenses of Clermont and Montpellier.
I agree, but if you don't want goals, you don't go to PSG. You go to Barca, as it seems, man. Right?
Oh yes. Oh well, I wasn't gonna bring that up yet, because I don't want to see that. But come on, you paid all that money. You rented all that out, and you got 0 goals against Rayo Vallecano. No, listen.
But
they dominated the game.
Exactly. There was clear intention with that. And look, Lewandowski will get the goals. More or less in the future, I believe, man.
I'm sure.
It's gonna happen, man. And Rafinha, Panfati. It's just seeing Barca play. It's just like they're inevitable to score a goal. Seeing Dembele, Rafinha, and Fati always trying to like arrows to that goal. And Lewandowski, man. It wasn't that day, but it will be in the future. But I gotta say this here from Barca. For me, watching Barca, I have to say I have a growing fear. Not a growing fear. My biggest worry with Barca is with center backs, they're locked. Eric Garcia, Christensen, Jules Conte, and Ronald Araújo. But because they're so good in center backs, they gotta fix their fullbacks with the center backs now this season. So I expect Ronald Araújo to drop to the fullback for a couple of games, like we saw against Rai. But that is a problem. So I just hope Marc Zalon's deal gets done, and another fullback slot is like it's easier for them, because right now Jordi Alba is Jordi Alba is a problem right now at Barca, in my opinion. Sergio Roberto playing is a problem, in my opinion. The fullbacks will have to be fixed. At center backs, you're deadlocked. But at fullbacks,
and once again,
you gotta fix it.
Free Serginho Dest too, please. Free Serginho. I mean, come on. If you're not going to play the guy, find him another play.
Alejandro Balde, if he doesn't.
But yeah. You know, Alex Balde. I'd love to see more of him. But I do have to say something. Well, they wound up finalizing the loan of Nico to Valencia. I'm excited to see him playing week in, week out there. But I'm looking at it, and that game changed markedly when Frankie de Jong came on the pitch. Okay,
it's fucked.
Frankie de Jong is their best midfielder. Pedri will be their best midfielder.
No.
Frankie de Jong is their best midfielder.
I don't agree with that. Because if Pedri is outside of that Barca midfield, the Barca midfield can't do anything.
I don't necessarily agree with that either. We have to see. We have to see.
Last season we saw that. You know? Like the moment that Pedri got injured, Barca lost everything. Like they really lost everything the moment he got injured. Pedri.
Yeah, I don't have my timetable set up, because when did Xavi come in?
What? It was last season, Bretson, when Pedri got injured in April.
No,
that was a huge blow. That was a huge blow at the time.
There were other injuries as well.
No, not
right?
as big
there were other injuries.
No.
Well, I mean, I think Ronald Araujo was out for a while too. Was he not? But he had quite a bit of an injury bug last season. But no, I agree. But at the same time, Frankie de Jong is your best midfielder. And I don't know why you wouldn't play Pedri and Frankie de Jong. Right? But the only reason you're kind of pushing him out is because of, or there's criminal action when it came to signing his contract in the first place, thanks to Bartomeu and all that good stuff. But basically, that doesn't change the fact that Frankie de Jong is still a massive piece, and should be a massive piece of Barcelona moving forward if he wants to stay. And if they can justify paying him what he was contractually obligated to get. But if you want to go to war to get him out so that you can raise money to bring other people in, then yes, Gavi and Pedri are your guys. But in the end, and Kessié, but ultimately what I got to say is, are they ready to put the full season, 3 campaigns, right? 3 campaigns, put the full season on their young shoulders. In no way am I saying Pedri will be a better player than Frankie de Jong long term, absolutely, if he's not already. But I am saying right now, Frankie de Jong is actually perfect for Barcelona, and they're not playing him as such because they're doing other extracurricular things in order to get him the hell out of there.
I respect your opinion with
that,
but I'm going to say that Frankie has to leave, because if Frankie leaves, Bernardo Silva comes, and Bernardo Silva coming, for me, would really put this team in another hemisphere, man. Because when I was seeing that game against Rayo Vallecano, they were missing that player. That Gavi, okay, he's still getting started this season, okay. Still.
He didn't have a game.
Sorry?
He didn't have a good game.
Exactly.
He didn't have a good game against Rayo.
Exactly. And because Gavi didn't have a good game, the goal didn't appear, because the moment from midfield to attack, Lewandowski wasn't getting the ball served like he wanted. And I'd say Pedri for me is really the player that's going to be the game-changing man. But I feel you, Brett, where you're coming from. And I know some Barca fans that are listening will know that what I'm talking about, that Pedri injury, because that was the problem, man.
No. I remember it. I do. I remember Pedri going down, and I remember also making comments about how he had played way too much. I mean, the fact that they even allowed him to play in the Olympics.
That was after that. That was after he came back after that, and he got injured again.
No, I understand that, but it's because he also wasn't fully recovered and he came back too soon.
But exactly, and he was
yes.
because he wasn't fully recovered. He had because
Right.
Barca were so bad. Xavi had to play him, and that's why they were winning matches. All the matches with Pedri, all of them.
Right.
They were going on a 20-game run with Pedri, like last season.
Yeah, well,
and it was because of Pedri. And if Pedri, the moment he left, down the drain. Even Frankfurt, like I know he played, but come on, he wasn't himself in that game too. So
then you better wrap him in bubble wrap, or you better get Bernardo Silva in fast if you're gonna forcibly push FDJ out. And then at the same time, they're not going to a new stratosphere with Bernardo Silva alone. They need fullback upgrades. So this is still a process beyond that. But you believe they're Champions League contenders
with Bernardo Silva.
Is.
Yeah, with Bernardo Silva.
Oh, but as is previously, you said they were Champions League contenders.
I say that. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
Silva.
I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say that. And honestly, after what I saw with Rayo, I'm going to go with that. And with Conte, if Conte is there, the build-up play much better. I still believe a ton in the Barca team, and it's not because of Rayo. With the end product didn't go well that I'm going to go out with it. So people, trust the process. And trust Xavi, okay? Trust what he's doing because he knows ball at an extent level. Convincing Lewandowski, Conte, all these players. And it's the right system. You'll see. It's going to be great, man.
I'm ready for it. If it means a toe-to-toe battle for the La Liga title between Real and Barcelona, I am 100% here for it. Just as long as they don't, just as long as we have Barcelona for the rest of my lifetime.
And
I don't want to see it go under.
And Depay hopefully goes to Juve. And yeah, if they need, I hope Aubameyang doesn't leave. But Depay, as it seems, he's going to Juve. So thank you, Depay. Not needed. And Frankie De Jong too. Afterwards, that's the way it's gonna go. And yeah,
was it last season's best top scorer for them? Not needed, right?
Depay, you say he's needed when Lewandowski comes.
No, but you do need, just like you want to put everything on the shoulders, squarely on the shoulders of Gavi and Pedri, you do need
Aubameyang
depth.
there.
But Memphis Depay is not going to accept necessarily being a depth piece moving forward. Yeah, but Aubameyang is likely gone too, potentially, based on Fabrizio Romano now getting involved. So just saying, depth is going to be a worry long-term for them until obviously Xavi gets all the money raised to where he can build the team that he wants, because it's now or bust, right? Champions League now or bust, or at least La Liga now or bust. So, yeah. But, hey, hat tip, okay, or a clap to Dimitrievski, because he had one hell of a game for Rayo Vallecano. And I know he's an older goalkeeper, but, hey, you love to see those types of stand-on-your-head performances that don't come very often. But, man, that was kind of one of them. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in La Liga. The rest of La Liga, I guess, started as we expected for the most part, except Sevilla. They're looking not so good.
First game.
It is the first game. But I'm just telling you, you sell off your two best center backs. I don't care. I don't even think Marcal played. Right, so, I think it was a DM that played as a center back.
Gudeli.
Yes. He's a Serb, right?
Yeah,
Serbian.
He's a good player. I like him, but yeah, I feel it. But Marcao he'll play.
I know.
But still, Sevilla. Let's wait and see. Put your thoughts of Barca down below. Do you believe Barca are gonna come back stronger than ever? Will they go the second game go crazy? Put down below your thoughts. And if they're going to still sign more players, will Bernardo Silva happen? Tell us in the YouTube comment section. But yes, you were talking about where the goals were not missing. And I think in 2 league games, PSG has 10 goals already. So they're going bold. And I got to say this, man. Nuno Mendes passing that ball to Renato Sanches for his first touch. First goal is the bold start that we love to see. And Vitinha, Renato and Nuno, what an amazing Portuguese core you have, PSG. This is the core you need to win a Champions League. These are the players. You are going bold, PSG, and I love it, man. I got to start with PSG talk. I know they got all Neymars, they got Mbappes, but Renato, obrigado. And I like that chemistry of Renato and Neymar. I think they got personalities there. They'll mix. They'll be friends, man. I like that.
that you mentioned Mbappe, you mentioned Neymar, but obviously they have some other bum coming, scoring some goals and doing some things. A certain guy named Leo Messi. But yes,
True.
this core,
Mm-hmm.
if you get them playing together, evening out the egos, playing the way a Christophe Galtier team could play, I'm telling you, they could win the Champions League. And I know that seems. That's literally what their goal is. That's what they want. So ultimately, the supporting cast having a commonality between them, whether they're Portuguese, whether they've played together, whether they just read each other well. The supporting cast is being built around that front three. And as of right now, okay, they brushed off Clermont, they brushed off Montpellier. Mm-hmm. Who's next? Who's next?
True,
right?
True, and there's a lot of speculation now coming that from the locker room that Mbappe wasn't happy, and during the game you could see that Mbappe wasn't happy. He was he was not happy during the game, not smiling. Scored a goal, he was like, he wasn't. I don't know what happened, but the news and the reports are saying that Neymar and Mbappe had a fight inside the locker room because of the penalties. Who does the penalty? Who scores the penalties? And I'm thinking to myself, they're debating between Neymar and Mbappe. They should just give it to Lionel Messi to score the penalties because that man is the one that has the right. And he's the greatest out of the three. So just give it to him because he's got the chances not to miss the pen, man. I find that oh my days, man. Neymar.
I know. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room. I mean, does Leo Messi actually argue with people? I want to know that.
Well, at Barca in Argentina, Barca, he loves to have that accountability. And for the national team, I feel like he's a very tough guy. And I like that. I like to hear that about Messi. But with PSG, you feel a bit that complacency, even when they won the League One title. He was like walking afterwards.
It's Clermont and Montpellier, and there's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, they're playing in a league that they have leveled up because of their financial backing, because of the players they brought in, the talent they brought in. League One is just not.
It is.
It's going to be that way. It's going to be a harvesting ground for complacency. It 100% is.
Well, but but to be fair, the only team in Liga to have a Champions League, it's Marseille. So PSG, they have to prove themselves in Liga to get that Champions League. And even in top league winners, Saint-Etienne is with PSG with 10 league titles. So they still have to prove themselves historically in Liga.
They do.
Well, so I Liga. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
Yeah. We'll wait and see with that. But no, at least Neymar can be happy with his hat trick of assists last week and his hat trick of goals this week. And maybe he smooths things out with Kylian Mbappe. But if that ego fight is already happening, then
Neymar,
who knows what the next month or two is going to bring?
3 games, 5 goals, and 3 assists for Neymar. So 3 games, what more can you ask? 8 goal involvements for Neymar. That is elite, and especially when you had a lot of news for him to leave PSG before all this started, and especially before the World Cup that I mentioned, Jesus, it had Neymar there too. So both of them have those expectations. And Ballon d'Or talk, man. Mbappe said, I got to say this too. Messi isn't nominated for the Ballon d'Or Messi isn't nominated for the Ballon d'Or for the first time since 2005, man. Oh my days, man. And that is not deserved. I think Messi should still be there. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Winning Finalissima, Liga, he wasn't that bad as people say he was. And he's not that bad not to be in the top 30. Ronaldo's there. Yeah. Messi can be there too, in my opinion. Especially last season. I agree with that.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. We could go down the nominees and say who shouldn't be there. But ultimately, more egregiously, Thomas Mueller is not there. Not there. 41 goal involvements last season. Not there. Okay? Why would Ronaldo be there? But not Thomas Mueller?
In the Ballon d'Or.
In the Ballon d'Or nominees.
I feel like both should be there, honestly. But
well, I agree there, but I'm now picking and choosing here because why would Luis Diaz be there but not Thomas Mueller? This has nothing to do with Luis Diaz as a player, but if you're actually taking his season and comparing it to Thomas Mueller's season, Thomas Mueller, I believe, led or came close to leading the top 5 leagues in not goal involvements, in assists. And he had 41 goal involvements. Thomas Mueller is a very incredibly underrated player. And the fact that he was not nominated, in my opinion, is downright criminal. And then you ready for this? A little bit of an inkling of an understanding here. Okay. Because you take that, maybe it's a Bayern bias, maybe it's a Bundesliga bias, I don't know. But ultimately, what they do last season, they created a Striker of the Year, right? Award.
Yeah.
For who?
For
who in
Lewandowski.
particular? Yeah. Well, are they offering it again this season? No.
They're not?
Not that I know of.
Hey,
and this is via
robbery
Twitter.
on Lewandowski, man. Robbery on Lewandowski.
It's basically like we know he's not getting what he probably deserves, and they gave it to Messi. Nothing, we could fight that until we're blue in the face. We could go all in on that. But ultimately, they created an award to give it to Lewandowski to essentially not create the award, not have the award anymore. Okay, that was when he was with Bayern. You're also ready for this. How many Ballon d'Or nominations does Joshua Kimmich have?
0.
1 now.
Oh, good. He should have a ton of them.
Yeah, this season. This season of all seasons. This past season wasn't even his best season. And you're telling me that out of 30, out of 30 nominees, that Joshua Kimmich has literally 1 nomination. How good has he been?
I agree.
And how consistent has he been over the last 4 or 5 seasons for Bayern? It just makes no sense to me. And it just tells you, I don't know what France football's agenda is. I don't want to get into a conspiracy theory. I don't want to whatever. But ultimately, I like Luis Diaz as a player, but over Messi, I don't know.
And you have Rafael Leão.
Mueller.
You have Darwin.
And you have Rafael Leão.
You have Darwin. But Luis Diaz, for me, I'll be honest.
Right.
I like that being there, personally. Because Luis Diaz was tremendously important for Liverpool to go where they went in the lengths of being in 4 title races at the time.
But Rafael Leão was virtually unmarkable for the final of the season to help them win against a lot of odds to help them win.
But Rafael Leão is there.
I know. I know. But I mean, you were kind of questioning the fact that Rafael Leão was there. Right?
No. I was like with Messi ahead.
Right.
Yeah, I kind. But what I'm saying is like they need basic. I feel like France football and all these awards prioritize goals, finishing, everything attack. Midfielders and defenders do not get the recognition they deserve, and a keeper like Courtois had to put so many monumental games to get the recognition he deserves at goalkeeper.
I'm with you.
In my opinion, a player like Kimmich, a player like Thomas Mueller, 2 great examples in my opinion, the Ballon d'Or should be fixed because players like them need to get the proper rating that they deserve, man. Even in video games, man. This should all be much more database driven, man. I don't like that. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that that's the case, man. Football fans are being lied upon with this because a football fan that doesn't know football says France football top 30 in the world Ballon d'Or. He's like, Kimmich is not there. He's not a top 30 player in the world. If he's a young person, you know what I mean? So we should educate the right way.
Yeah, but he is there. He is there this season, so we're happy to hear that. But the fact that it was his first Ballon d'Or nomination surprised the absolute living stuff out of me.
And Mbappe said his top 3 for the Ballon d'Or was Sadio Mane, Benzema, and himself. So do you agree with that top 3 of Mbappe?
Yes.
I agree
himself.
too.
Wait, Mbappe, Benzema, and I'm sorry, who was the other one? Benzema,
Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane? Yeah. Yes, I do. I actually do agree with that. Come on, World Cup qualification. Yeah. I don't know if that actually counted towards the voting, but AFCON, how screamingly important he was for Liverpool and Senegal. Absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree with that.
I do think Salah's better than Mane, though. I just want to put that out. But Mane had a better season. I completely agree. Yeah. The AFCON was a cherry on top of the cake. Best African player that season. So definitely with that. We're mentioning, though, Ballon. And put down below, who do you think will... Oh, no. That's Benzema. Who do you think will be the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or? Because there might be a bit of mystery with that. Who do you think is going to be?
We'll see.
And yes, we have Ballon d'Or, but we have another trophy that is parallel. But it's with the name of our pod for the Wonderkids. And we have the Kopa trophy that has as nominees Jamal Musiala, Bukayo Saka, Karim Adeyemi, Gravenberch, Jude Bellingham, Gavi, Nunes Mendes, Gvardiol, yes, Wirtz, and Camavinga.
Saka. Camavinga.
Oh, yeah. I say Saka?
I think you said it.
Yeah, I said Saka.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
So Camavinga, that was the name. I written that a bit scrummy, so I was like, So Camavinga, man. Yeah, gotta say that name too, man. But in midfield, the depth in this list, man. Bellingham, Gravenberch, Gavi, Wirtz, Camavinga, Kopa trophy, man. It's midfielders trophy, man. And Nunes Mendes.
Yeah. And the majority of these players either are in the Bundesliga now or were in the Bundesliga last season. And I just have to say, you know, I'll tell you my winner at the end of this, who I think is going to win. But I just have to say, man, Florian Wirtz obviously getting on here makes a whole lot of sense. But if he had finished that season injury-free, you got to think that he would have been 100% in the running to actually win this thing. 100% in the running. And I just wish that had happened for his sake.
Wirtz was at the level of Bellingham before he got injured. So definitely. But who do you think's gonna win it? You said that fast, but who do you think's gonna win it?
I believe Jude Bellingham deserves to win it. Yeah, he's my winner. He's my winner, and I got, you know, I love this. I saw it in a tweet, and Camavinga. You're very no. I mean, Camavinga won that. He did, and it all came down to several appearances for him. Absolutely, he played a part. But Jude Bellingham, in terms of consistency, and once again, I don't know what the matrix is, right, for any of this crap. But ultimately, Jude Bellingham, come on, was so consistent, and at his age, to be that consistent for the second place team in the Bundesliga, to work his way into the English national team setup, which is not a place that is pretty easy to do, considering how far they went in the Euros, and how relatively dominant they were in World Cup qualifying. Jude Bellingham is a man beyond his years. And in fact, we could say that about a lot of these players. Gavi's playing beyond his years. Exactly. Musiala's playing beyond his years. Saka's playing beyond his years. But I do have to say, for me, it's Jude Bellingham in terms of the character he exudes, because I do know that is part of the equation. Okay. Just he exudes being a winner, a leader. And I love this. This is a little bit of a tangent, but literally about 3 years ago today, okay, maybe like a week ago, 3 years ago, Jude Bellingham made his full first start for Birmingham City. A legend was born, if you will. Well, guess who a week ago just made his first debut, his first start, both of them in the Carabao Cup, both of them right around this time, early single digits, August. Job Bellingham, 16 years old, okay? You probably saw that tweet too. It's a great one. I felt like I had to share it with people because
love it.
Jude, when he started, was 16, 3 years ago. Job starting out the exact same way. Carabao Cup, first start, Birmingham City, 16 years old. And my goodness, do I hope he follows in his footsteps. Or maybe he's better than Jude. You never know. But Jude Bellingham is my winner.
He's a winger. He plays a winger, right?
Yes, yes.
So,
but who's your pick? Who's your pick?
I'm gonna say, look, I would love for it to be Camavinga, but he's not a starter like Jude. I agree with that. And I do think another factor, I think Jude Bellingham's gonna win it. I think Jude Bellingham is going to win it too because it was such a big debate of who was going to win last year's Kopa trophy between Pedri and Jude. I feel like they're saying to themselves, just give it to Jude this year. And the next one, Gavi. Because Gavi for me is the one that, out of all the list, Gavi for me is the most special talent in the Kopa trophy. And I know Nunes Mendes is there, yes, but Gavi is just different gravy completely.
Well,
what I
gotta say, don't sleep on Musiala.
No, I agree. But I feel like Jamal Musiala next season will be more of a debate than this one for the Copa, because I feel like this season Musiala just, I don't know. He feels like he has more confidence. The fact that maybe Lewandowski's not there, maybe he's in shoe bite. he's he's the guy. Now he's the guy. He's with Mane.
Yep.
I don't know, but I just feel like this season he's gonna be prolific. But Gavi, for me, I would give him, maybe seeing him for playing for Spain too. I get a bit of a bias with that, but yeah, I think Bellingham's gonna win too. But people, put down below, who do you think is gonna win the Kopa trophy, and tell us why in the comment section. We want to know who are your picks. And Nun Minj, pa. We want to see Nun Minj in the comment section below, or I want to. Sorry, but yeah, well, Wonder Kids. We still have a Wonder Kids to talk, right? Here to mention.
We do. I mean, we've been going a while here. Yes. There's just so much to talk about, but I got to start with and say, hey, not everything is bad in this world for you, Everton. Okay, I know you're maybe losing trust in Frankie Lampard potentially. I'm not sure. I know it was tough seeing Ben Godfrey go down with an injury, and the injury bug just continues to pile up with the Toffees. But I do have to provide myself already an early mea culpa and already sorry, because Amadou Onana looks a proper unit. Okay, I do understand that in this game versus Villa, he made a mistake. He ultimately got bodied off the ball. It led to a Villa goal. He then also forced a goal. But my goodness, he does look like a player that Everton could build around, and they might be able to really use and ride his talent into maybe a non-relegation threatening season. But just watching him, you can see he's going to do numbers. He's going to do numbers, I believe, in the Premier League. Okay? And he didn't really play too much with Lille. He did not before making that 30 million jump. So Amadou Onana, the quality is clear for me. And if Everton stays up, he's probably going to be a big reason why.
Okay, it's a risk too. Like if a player that doesn't have a lot of experience, and Lampard, okay, he needs things to go for him right now. And Anthony Gordon, seeing Everton play, I loved how Gordon got that goal, and I really felt like he's the hero of Everton. He's gonna go another level higher next season, in my opinion, and another level higher. This is the perfect way of saying Fábio Silva is going this season. Perfect loan to Anderlecht, being the man up forwards. And 5 goals already for Anderlecht, 1 assist, I think. And he already has more goals than what he had at Wolves, the entire season at Wolves. And it's 14th of August. He had 3 goals, I think, right? Well, how many goals at Porto?
I think he had 3 at Porto and 4 at Wolves.
And he was sold straight away. So, like, he scored those 3 goals. Wolves said 40 million. And then, yes, he had a hit. Not the best season, okay, in the Premier League. It's tough. New player, new environment. But I got to say, my expectations for the season after were this one, I'm already going bold here in my head. But seeing 5 goals already, I say this was the right decision for Fábio Silva, and let's wait and see. It's the 14th of August. So when it's May, we might see more than 30 goals this season, if he has more than 5 already. So Fábio Silva.
That should be the tagline for this whole podcast. It is the 14th of August. Breton, stop talking about Sevilla as if they've lost everything, because it's the 14th of August. No, Fábio Silva, it's great to see it. We all saw last season with Anderlecht, we saw a certain Sergio Gomez have himself one hell of a season for them. And where is he signing now? Manchester City. So ultimately, I wouldn't call it rehabilitation, because Fábio Silva has always been talented. He just necessarily wasn't able to really hit the ground running at Wolves. I think you're right. I think we could be seeing 25, 30 goals, much like it helped Joshua Zirkzee, much like it has helped others in the past. I love that he is off. Yeah, I love that he is off the mark for them and ready to go. And there's another player that's like this. Okay, he's developed at La Masia. He's developed at PSG. Okay, but ultimately, a lot of people were writing Xavi Simons off, or Simons off, for being a failed Wonderkid of some sort. He is not a failed Wonderkid.
Nope.
He just might not be the level of PSG yet. He might not be the level of Barcelona yet. But ultimately, he is 19 years old. He has already been given by Ruud van Nistelrooy the opportunity to show what he could do at PSV Eindhoven. And he is rewarded them with 3 goals, 2 assists in 4 matches for PSV. So I love to see a story like this where everybody's already kind of slapping Xavi Simons's name up on the wall as a failed wonder kid, and he is currently in the process of telling them, hold up a second, I've got a whole career ahead of me, and I've got some things to show you. So I hope it continues because this is a right decision made for his development. So I hope he learned from this. I hope his family learned from this, and I hope his agent learned from this. This is the right step for him, and I think he's going to do well in the Eredivisie.
His agent would rest in peace right now. It was Mino Raiola.
Oh, right.
So, like, Raiola, he knew the talents of Xavi Simons, and now going to the Eredivisie too, it's just so fitting with his clients too. Like Ibra in the past, like he was in the Eredivisie, he became the player that he was. They leaked too from Ajax and Simons. Like we were judging him not going to Ajax maybe, but PSV. PSV is the place to be, as it seems, and Bakayoko and Nodi Madueke injury too. I was worried for PSV, but as it seems, nobody was counting out Xavi Simons, and he is delivering. I love that shot. Still 19. Still 19.
Yeah, still 19. And prayers up to Richie Ledesma, who unfortunately, gets some time again with PSV's first team. Hell, he even got a start, and once again, he's injured. So hoping it's not too serious. And he's back on the field because that's a talent I would, But I'll tell you what, and I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I got to say, there is another somebody that was kind of pointed out as not yet a failed wonder kid, but maybe somebody that people were skeptical about. And, Youssoufa Moukoko basically said, everybody hold up. I'm still 17 years old, and you give me a chance, I'm going to let you know what I can do. And he helped Dortmund win their second in a row. Took him 20 minutes to make an impact, and it's another one. You got Xavi Simons over at PSV and Moukoko at BVB, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season.
And Dortmund was losing. They were losing 2-0, and 20 minutes, those 2 goals, and that 1 goal and 2 assists were all 3 goals that Dortmund needed for that comeback against Freiburg. I was watching that match saying to myself, this is unbelievable. Jude Bellingham is out, and now you have Jamie Bynon-Jensen and Moukoko stepping up big time. World-class youngsters always with Dortmund, man. Shocking. Shocking.
Yeah.
What a game.
It's good.
What a game. They needed it too. They needed it. That confidence boost, man. That Haller miss. Oh. And Arda Güler. You gotta say he gets the new number 10 of Fenerbahce. We love Arda Güler here at FC Wonderkid. And yes, getting that number 10 deserved at 17. That just shows the potential of Arda Güler. One of the best talents out there, especially at 17. So, Fenerbahce, I love it.
It's a huge deal, and I just hope Jorge Jesus
plays
him, and that it's not a ceremonial 10. It kind of feels like Christian Pulisic. His 10 is now ceremonial, and Smith Rowe's 10 is now somewhat ceremonial. So that's tough. But I've got two more Brazilians. You just got to remember their names. You got to look up what they did. I know because we've been talking about them. But two Brazilians that are just blowing up in Brazil, and it's not Endrick. Okay.
Yes.
One is Vitor Roque. Okay, and we've talked about him previously. 17 years old. 17. He scored the goal that sent Atletico Paranaense. Is that how you say it? To the Copa Libertadores semifinals. He did it in the 96th minute, and then he promptly took off his shirt or did something to get himself a nice little yellow card. They are into the semifinals, and apparently at that game, not surprisingly, Real Madrid was there to scout him. So Vitor Roque has 12 goals and 15 starts for them this season. And what I loved about that goal, that late goal against the Estudiantes, was how he sacrificed himself for it. He put himself on death's door, right? The goalkeeper just beating the goalkeeper to the ball, getting it in the back of the net, and it was just a beautiful thing. And I think you're going to see his name shine up in lights over the coming months or so as he continues to progress there. And then the other one is more of a defensive midfielder, 18-year-old Andrey Santos, who plays for Vasco da Gama, who's in Serie B, but we've seen really good players come out of Serie B before. He's getting a chance. He's like this pseudo defensive midfielder, but he's playing all sorts of roles for them. He's got 5 goals this season, and he had 2 the other day. He's got 4 in his last 3. Andrey Santos, 18 years old, another Brazilian you got to watch if you don't know him already. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to try and bring some new names to you every once in a while after you guys yell at me for being a Barca hater most of the podcast. I will still bring you names that you need to watch out, because my guess is Barcelona is likely going to be looking at adding one of these guys before Real Madrid does. We'll see.
We'll have to see about that. So people, put down below Wonderkids that we haven't mentioned down below. And yes, if you're listening until now, do not forget to like this video and podcast. It's a huge help for me and Breton. Follow us on Spotify, FC Wonderkid, on Apple Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcast community. So listen to us on Apple, FC Wonderkid. And again, subscribe to our YouTube channel and press that alert. We want to see the alert button so you know when the episode is out. Thank you for listening to us, episode 68. And thank you, community, for going bold weekly.